Did it post it? How does that work?
I don't know. I'm waiting. Are you online?
Yeah. Might take a minute to like process.
Okay, here we go. Danny Pintar is live now. This video is potentially being...
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Oh.
Already got 4 viewers.
8.
She's so silly. Oh, you gotta turn the volume off though, honey. Otherwise I'm gonna spend the whole thing.
Okay.
That's so funny, there's like a delay. Okay. Hi! Let's see, I gotta set this up right. Look at her ears flipped. Alright, that's too high. No, it's not. Alright, there we go. Is that better? I can't see who's there. Wait, you are live. Great smile. Oh, thanks, Brad. Hi. I'm gonna wait for a minute to let more people come on. Where's Bella? Bella! Show off our dogs. Where's Bella? Bella! Bella? Bellissima. There she is. Come here, Bella. Oh, Lucy. This is Bella. She's got a gimp arm. Poor thing. She was born that way. We always get the, I always get the broken dogs. My other dog, Jack, only has one eye. Oh my god. No. Be nice. Hi. Okay, so, the idea of this is, let me explain why I'm considering doing this regularly, okay? I am enjoying being an activist, and I'm enjoying talking about all these topics, and I'm enjoying learning about them all and meeting people and going places. But I said I would do this for a year, and part of that was to write blogs and write articles and write posts and all of that good stuff. And though I'm enjoying it, I'm not, I didn't go to school to be a journalist. I didn't, I've never learned how to do that sort of thing. I'm an okay writer, but it takes me a long time to write an article sufficiently. I then have to sort of go through it and make sure all the words are good, and it can take like a week or more for me to compose something just talking about daily topics. So what I figured I might try is just doing something live every day, every couple of days, in which I talk about stuff going on. Like, I mean, it's a perfect example. It's the first thing I was going to talk about. I just got back my test results for my 6-month HIV test, and it was a really interesting test, and I wanted to talk about it. And then I started writing an article, and a day and a half later, I'm halfway through the article trying to figure out what to say and how to say it. And, you know, by now it's already... So I want to try and do them live and talk about it. So what I want from you guys is ideas on what you think in terms of how often I should do it. I mean, I don't think anyone else is doing any sort of Facebook mentions or Periscope thing live. So I thought I would give it a try and see. So if you have thoughts on that, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so let's start with that. The first thing I wanted to talk about was my test results. I just got them done. The last time I had my test results done, or my blood taken, was in July of this past year. I only have to get them every 6 months because my numbers are great. If my numbers were to change, then we would bring it down to 3 months. I'm supposed to say thank you, David and George. Will is here, and he's typing in the corner, and he's like pointing at the screen. Thank you, David and George. Okay. So they were done in July when I was still working at PF Chang's as a manager, stressed out, working like 50 hours a week, barely time to get full sleep, unable to get anything accomplished. You know, just life was harder. And then the next test, the blood work was taken in January, in which I don't have a job. I'm working from home. I'm writing. I'm sleeping better. I'm relaxing. And so I was curious to see, you know, for years and years and years, I've heard of this idea of like, oh, well, stress is a big factor when it comes to HIV management. I thought, okay, sure, yeah, it is, but I'm just going to take my medication and I'm going to be fine, and that's enough. I didn't realize that it's really as important as it is. So my test results came back, and it showed that I had a couple of things. One, I had a viral blip, which means that I was not technically undetectable. According to I've posted a bunch of links below or on top. I don't know how that goes, to sort of explain this stuff. So the first one is that there is such a thing as a viral blip, and they don't have like specific reasons why it happens, but it does happen, and it's not something to worry about. I should only worry about it if it happens more frequently, or if every time or every other time I do it there's a blip. Mostly the blips are small, with a viral load rising to somewhere between 50 and 1,000 copies. I only showed 40 copies, so I'm barely even in terms of a blip. And things like the flu, or receiving a vaccine, or being really sick at the time — I had been sick a few weeks before the tests — could be enough to just make for a viral blip. So that was interesting. But the big thing was, back in July, my T-cell count was 770. And I've been in that range for the last, 7 or 8 years. 770 is great. You know, I don't know, I've posted a link also to explain sort of what the T-cell count means and what the CD4 count is. And according to the CDC, a normal adult who is generally in good health, that is uninfected with HIV, their T-cells range from 500 to 1,200 cubic millimeters per, 1,200 per cubic millimeter. I'm at 770, or I was in July, so that's a good number. It means I'm taking my medicine, it means it's working, it means I'm taking good care of myself. Now, cut to January, and I was at 1,050 for T-cells. I have never been over 800 in the last 12 years of being positive. That's a huge jump. That's a massive jump. And the only thing I can really attribute it to is that I'm sleeping better, that I'm less stressed out, that I'm not working 50 hours a week, that I'm happy and enjoying life. It really does work. So that's amazing. And my thought on that is that y'all should just take a little break, not work so darn hard, and maybe you'll see an increase in your T-cells. Hopefully you're all taking care of yourselves in the first place, because when you're HIV positive, you need to just plain take care of yourself all the time. Let's see. Oh, the next thing is Desert AIDS Project and my speech, which was really, I just posted, and I hope you all really liked it. It was a really interesting process to let them sort of say the whole shebang. I told a story in which, if you've read the speech, then you've been privy to some information that I have not told anyone, but maybe like 20 people in my life in the last 5 years since that happened. But now I've talked about it, and we need to talk about it. It's important that we talk about it for a couple of reasons. I posted a link. Peter Staley, you guys should go learn who Peter Staley is. He's amazing. He was one of the founding members of ACT UP, and he's just really smart and a major force in terms of HIV activism. And he's been doing this thing where every few years he'll go back to the people that he knows at the National HIV Behavioral Surveillance Group and get more accurate numbers in terms of the amount of people using meth. And he did that again recently. The last time he did the last time he got the numbers was 2011. I posted the graph, and then he did them again for 2014. in the last 2 years, there has been 3 years. Sorry, meth use by gay men in New York City has more than doubled in the last 3 years. Doubled. That is unacceptable. That is a huge number. And if that's happening in New York City, it's happening all over the country. My speech was talking about that. Palm Springs has quite a problem with meth, and I'm so happy that the Desert AIDS Project is doing something about it. If you go to their website, and you'll find information about their crystal meth action team. It's super informative and really interesting. But thank you, Peter, for getting these numbers, because there's not a lot of details out there about meth and about the numbers. And so anytime they come out, it's important. And, I mean, he posted that last week, and a lot of major news outlets posted about it, because that's a big number. Doubled in 3 years. That's not okay. There's a lot of things that I'm talking about doing with that. One of them is this really cool program, well, not program, but group that they have in Australia that I'm going to post more about soon. I just did an interview with the founder of the group. It's called TIM is the short for it, and the meth aspect of it is called Turning Tina. They're these really cool brochures that are sort of harm reduction techniques to sort of get people who are in the middle of it or don't know much about it thinking about it and talking about it. And then they also have this really cool thing, and this is the thing that I've been trying to figure out. How do you figure this out? How do you do this in America, or how do you do this in general? They have this really cool group that is sort of a Facebook group. They get together every so often as just sort of a social group, and they're all recovering from meth or other drugs or alcohol, and they just hang out. You know, meetings are great. Meetings are super important, but it's also nice to have an outlet where you just hang out. And there's a lot of trigger days. So they'll have a group meeting, or they'll have a social gathering on a Friday, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's the weekend, I'm going to do some more drugs. But I'm going to go to this social thing instead, you know? And I think it'd be really cool if we come up with a way to do that in all of the major cities here in the States. They've got like core values that they focus on, that all of their sort of group members can sort of believe in and trust, and it allows people to come together, and not in this sort of really somber setting of a meeting, of a CMA meeting, you know? So stay tuned. I'm hoping to figure that out, and if you have ideas on how we can set that up in various cities, I'd love to hear about it. So that's it. What else? Somebody wanted me to talk about Charlie Sheen. Dr. Oz just came out the other day. I'm proud of Charlie for sort of coming through this. I'm also really excited that he is trying new things and trying out. He's determined to find a cure, and he's determined in every way, shape, or form. Sometimes that means that we have to find out that version's misguided, but we still have to explore for ourselves. I'm happy that he's sort of going back on that and saying, that one's too risky, and I just don't have enough information about it. I'm going to link Dr. Oz, the episode in which they sort of debunk all the stuff that doctor thinks is... That's a whole other story. I'll also be posting a link. Peter Staley is going to be doing a follow-up blog about that. So stay tuned. I will say more about that. I just don't want to make these things too long. I don't know how long they are. If I'm doing them every day, then each day I can just talk about one thing and not have to throw them all together. Let's see. Oh, the other thing is breaking news. Boop a doop boop boop boop. Is that how you do it? Boop a doop boop boop boop. Boop. Breaking news. Supreme Court Justice Scalia dies today. There's a lot to say about that, but I'm also going to post a link to an article, the 7 worst things that Antonin Scalia has said or written about homosexuality. They're all scathing, and they're all terrible. So, as someone said, you should never say something bad about the dead. Well, I'm just not going to say anything at all. We'll leave it at that. After that is, Tim Tebow. I wanted to talk about him. Where did I put that? So, you know, I posted a link to his interview with Ellen. And I did some research, too, after watching it, because I didn't really know the whole story. I know that there's a whole scandal about him a few years ago going to speak for an evangelical minister who has big problems with homosexuals, and he backed out, which is great. I'm happy that he backed out, and I think that if you look at, I mean, from what I learned, he's always backed out of that stuff. Yes, he's evangelical and he has strong beliefs about religion, but I don't think he's actually supportive of any of these people. I think he just didn't know. What bothers me about it, though, is that if you watch the Ellen, he never talks about, you know, a lot of people have been sort of quoting it as a straight guy is going to talk about girls. You know, I'm dating this chick, I'm dating this girl, I've been dating a lot of girls, whatever it may be. Not I'm dating people. Like, what does that mean? I don't know any straight guy who's going to say I'm just dating. Yeah. And you could sort of see it on Ellen's face, too. She was sort of like treading fine water. Look, I don't know. But what he makes me think of is I just did an interview for this guy for the HuffPost. I'll post a link to that, too. And we sort of talk about that, you know. And I truly believe that everyone should only come out on their own accord when they're ready, actors or celebrities or politicians or sports figures. Especially actors. I truly believe that actors need to maintain the ability to become as blank a slate as possible if they want to succeed in the entertainment business. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that that's the way it is. And so if they want to have a long career, it's probably not a good idea right now. That's okay. The people who bother me are the people who everyone sort of knows is gay, or there are actual legitimate stories about them being at a bathhouse, or whatever it may be. Those are the ones that make me frustrated, because those people are doing a disservice to themselves and to our community by sort of perpetuating all the stigmas, you know? So, I don't know where he's at right now, but he may be on that second list. Stay tuned. Now, I was thinking of doing questions. Are there questions? Oh, I have to thank Matthew. And I have to say, we would love to, Jason. And George. Oh, yeah, that would be really great. Yeah, well, those are two separate things. If I could find $3 million to donate to DAP, I would. This benefit that they had the other day probably raised more than that, but that's for DAP overall. So what I could do is two separate ones. One, so that my husband and I can have our dream and open a bed and breakfast, and then another one so that I can donate that money to organizations like DAP that are actually doing something about crystal meth. But yeah, the husband and I need to find a bed and breakfast. We've got some choices, but the big problem is you know, finding the money. The one that I pensioned, the $3 million one, is actually not on the market anymore. So stay tuned. Oh yes, you know, I still have only gotten to the very first episode of Unsure Positive. I think it's really, really good, and I think it's really interesting. And I can post a link. What the name was? Christian. Post a link in here so people can go look. Oh, you did. I like it. It's really good, and it definitely shows a different side of being positive that, you know, just isn't. It's just putting it in the mainstream and turning it into something that people can watch and relate to. I think that's awesome. Oh, thank you for the mic. You know, it's just the journalism thing. It's like it's that. How does that phrase go? Like, play to your strengths. And my strengths aren't necessarily writing, or at least not in a journalistic sense. I'm an actor, or was an actor. You give me a script, and I'll perform it. Or you give me a monologue, and I will act the shit out of it. But sitting in front of the computer and writing is just so much for me. So maybe this will work, and maybe we can sort of have an open dialogue about stuff, and people can ask questions, and each day we can just, you know, get it going. Oh, Annette! Yes! This lovely woman named Annette Going back to DAP and the $3 million, that wasn't actually associated with the thing I posted the other day. This lovely, lovely little old lady named Annette, I can't remember her last name, donated $3 million to DAP at the event for them to be able to open another part of their, so they could have a bigger clinic. She was awesome, and she's the cutest thing, and if we could have all the little old ladies in Palm Springs donate money to DAP, or the little old ladies all over the country donate to any organization in their area, we would be so much further along. So thank you, Annette. I love her. She was so nice, too. Those people were really great. Let's see. Any other questions in there? No other questions? I thought someone would ask me my thoughts on the Hillary versus Bernie, but I guess not. I haven't made up my mind on that yet. My husband's voting for Hillary, and just to sort of piss him off, I keep saying I'm going to vote for Bernie. But I'm really kind of undecided at the moment. You know, both sides have really valid points. Both candidates are really, really strong. Somebody posted this the other day, and I don't know if I believe it, but I certainly think that if we are trying to get people to really make change, if we're trying to actually sort of get people fired up to change our political system, then I kind of think that Trump needs to win the presidency. If he wins the presidency, the country will revolt. Like, full-on legitimate revolt. And then maybe we'll actually get some huge, huge changes happening. Bernie will do a great job, and he'll get a lot of people moving on, but he's going to have to fit in that system. Same thing for Hillary. She's much more tight-knit with the system, so she'll be able to play it well. But, you know, do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying that I want him to, God forbid, but it would make, I mean, everyone's pissed off at the idea. One booster pill. Ooh, yes. I'm reading about it. There are some really great stuff coming up in terms of drugs and regimens and easier ways. Charlie talked about it on Dr. Oz. I don't know much about the one that he talked about. I think those are awesome. I think that the treatments we have right now are great. I think all of that is great. And I tend to sort of steer away from sort of being really gung-ho about talking about the things that you can do once you have it, because we have those tools. My goal is to talk about the stuff that you can do so that you don't have to be on that regimen, so you don't have to do a shot every couple of weeks, so that you don't have to take a pill a day. So those are my thoughts. For president, yeah, right. No, terrible. My biggest issues. My biggest issue, well, I mean, in terms of political issues, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a very political person in general. My husband is really good at that. I'm becoming more political because I have a lot of really great people talking about it on my Facebook feed. Peter Staley in particular. I keep talking about Peter today. What's that all about? I think that it's about this revolution and figuring out how to make that happen. I already answered that one. I already answered the one about Justice Scalia. You'll have to go back and look. But the main answer is there's nothing to say about it. A lot of people on the internet are saying, ding dong, the witch is dead. I'm not saying that myself. I'm just quoting the internet. Quoting the internet. Is that a thing? Quoting the internet. When it comes to LGBT issues, I think that the next stage of LGBT issues need to come from within right now. I don't know if politicians can help us right now get to a place where we stop being hateful to each other, where we stop having stigma within our own community, when we start taking care of each other more, and when we start sort of rallying to make changes when it comes to drugs, addictions, and HIV. So for now, when it comes to LGBT issues, I don't think politicians are the ones who are going to help us. I think we need to help ourselves right now. PrEP. PrEP. God, there's so much to say about PrEP. PrEP is You know, it's interesting. I'm going to end this in 5 minutes, just FYI. I'm going to try that. PrEP is interesting to me. I started off, when I first came out about this in September, I started talking about PrEP as this. It's awesome, but, you know, you really got to be careful, and I don't need your other STIs, and, you know, sort of on the fence, almost on the AHF side of things. Don't get me started on them. But I have since learned enough and come far enough, and I'm going to be posting a Q&A with an old friend of mine who talks about PrEP from an HIV standpoint. He actually, it sort of like changed his life as an HIV positive person because he feels less like a dirty needle, because he now knows that people can take care of themselves and spend time with him and everyone can be on the same page. I have since come to a place with PrEP, my husband's on PrEP, where I feel like someone who's going out of their way to get a prescription for PrEP is going to their doctor at least 4 times a year to get refills on their prescription, which means that they're getting tested for HIV and other STIs 4 times a year. So whatever it is, whatever the reasons that they decide to get PrEP, whether they want to be able to have lots of fun, or whether they're just scared and they want to protect themselves, maybe they're in a serodiscordant relationship, whatever their reasons, the reasons aren't what we should be focusing on. What we should be focusing on, the fact is that they are doing something to take care of themselves and to take care of other people. And they're going to the doctor 4 times more than a lot of other gay men. 1 in 3 gay men hasn't been tested in the last year. So let's stop worrying about the other sides of PrEP, and let's start thinking about the fact that those people are actually taking care of themselves and getting tested, and that's a huge move forward. Oh God, that's a big topic. How do I feel about being embraced or not embraced? I get it. I have a lot of things to say about it. I've said most of them. I'll post links to all the various things where I've said about those. I get it. I understand. I'm learning as I go. Maybe I've said something today that is going to upset someone, but I'm speaking my voice, I'm speaking my truth, and I'm trying to do the best job. Sometimes it's not going to fit the PR model. I'm trying not to piss anybody off. I'm still learning. I never had a problem with calling myself clean, but that's a big button topic for a lot of people, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning to not say that. So I'm still learning what that means, and I know how important it is to them, but it never bothered me, so getting it out of my vocabulary has been hard, but I'm working on it. The thing that frustrates me the most is I'm at this fine line right now with all of this. Everyone says to ignore the people who are saying things on the internet. Everyone says to just, people are going to do this whether you like it or not. I get that. But maybe one of the revolutions we need to have within our community and within society is maybe we need to start shutting them up. Because we're giving them room to actually just say what they want to say and very few people can test it, maybe that's created this sort of problem in the first place. So, when I've got all these supporters, I've got, I don't know, like 10,000 people on all the various channels that I have, social media things, and I see someone say something really stupid and ignorant and mean about me, and nobody responds. And that's frustrating because I feel like we're bigger than that, and I feel like ignoring the problem, if it comes to any other topic, ignoring the problem is always a bad idea, right? You can't ignore meth, you can't ignore HIV, you can't ignore the government, whatever, you can't ignore things. And why should we ignore the people on the internet who are making uninformed or mean or just trying to go out of their way to say something offensive? Look, I'll argue with you. If I've said something inappropriate or if I'm not speaking correctly, that's fine. We'll talk about it back and forth. But when you say something like, oh, he's doing this for a publicity stunt, I'm going to get mad because that's so not true, and you have no idea if that's true or not. And you're making that assumption. And maybe, I've started doing it, maybe we should all just write him back and say, enough is enough, and go from there. I have to say thank you to Ava, Bradley, Christian, George, Mike, and everyone who joined in. Post in here what your thoughts are on how often I should do this. And post in here also questions that you might have for me from next time, and I can compile them. If we'll see. I kind of feel like doing it every day. Maybe make it just like a 10-minute thing a day and talk about one topic in particular and answer a couple of questions. And move on. These videos stay posted on Facebook, so we can enjoy them that way. Once a week on a Saturday, that could be good. That could be good. There's so much to talk about, though, and I don't want them to be 30 minutes every time. That's a long time for people to sit and watch, you know? So if it were maybe 3 times a week, then I could keep it at like 15 minutes and talk about 2 or 3 things and leave it at that. So we'll see. I don't know. Post all your thoughts in there and we'll go from there. Anyway, check out all the links I posted. There's really interesting information in there. Great knowledge, and stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Just testing it out. Thanks. Thank you very much, and thanks for tuning in. Okay, bye. Oh, and Christian, you don't have to watch whenever you're able, in the sense that you don't have to watch it live. They stay on Facebook, and you can watch them whenever you need to. Live is just the fun perk, but this actual version, unedited, is already going to be on Facebook as soon as I sign off. So there you go. All right, cool. Have a great one, and happy Valentine's. Everybody be safe tomorrow. Have lots of glorious sex, but do whatever you need to do to take care of yourselves. And, and that's it. Bye! Now I gotta figure out how to turn it off.